People's Democratic Party has added a feather to its political cap with the recent win in the governorship elections in Edo State. The build-up to the election started on a very shaky note as the party was torn between retaining their original candidate, Kenneth Imasoegbon, and gifting the incumbent governor, Godwin Obaseki, the ticket. This option was later to change the statistics of the party in the South-South region, although a really hard decision to make. The party settled for Obaseki, and in its usual democratic manner, all the other aggrieved members were appeased, and the party went to the polls and won overwhelmingly. The win had cost the APC the only South state in its back, which of course is a major decider in national elections. The South state made up of Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Rivers State, Delta State and Edo State have majorly been PDP states, as the political parties in Nigeria have regularly been drawn against ethnic lines. While the APC rules supreme up north, the PDP had more followers down south. With the PDP winning Edo State, the APC has been completely dislodged from the region, and with the overly temperamental side of the former chairman Adams Oshiomole, the fact remains that more APC members may dump the party soon, as the Edo chapter chairman had foretold. The parties as they stand in the Nigerian political landscape at the moment are shown. North Central APC 5 PDP 1, Northeast APC 4 PDP 2, Northwest APC 5 PDP 2, Southeast APC 1 PDP 3 ABGA 1, South APC none PDP 6, Southwest APC 5 PDP 1. With just Hope Uzodinma in Imo State, APC would have completely been wiped out of the Southeast region, and this would go a long way to determine the permutations of the 2023 elections. Okay. Well, I think Oshiomole was used to get a APC, to get a Edo for APC. Now the same Oshiomole now has been used again for BDP to have gotten it back from APC. I think it's very, very funny, because it was through APC, through Oshiomole, that the PDP was taken away from Edo State. And even through him also, he made it so easy again for PDP to regain back Edo State. It has always been a PDP state right from time, even in the last presidential elections. We could see that even with the incumbent governor who was in APC, and also the chairman of the party, Saden, now the former APC, yet PDP still won at the presidential level. So it speaks volume, and that is one of the reasons why, even when Obaseki defected, and people have been saying Edo has always been a PDP state, and Oshiomole just made it easy again for them, because for over 12 years APC has been in control of Edo State. Over 12 years. And if not for the way what happened in APC between Oshiomole and Obaseki, believe you me, PDP wouldn't have gotten it. But on the platter of gold again, Oshiomole released the state again for them. It's very, very funny. So, well, it's not really a surprising thing that Edo State is back to PDP, but it was just very, very easy. Most of the states that PDP regained back from APC just gave them freely. You can imagine in Zamfara, in some other states, APC just gave it freely for them, and they are getting it back. So let's continue to see how everything is going to turn out by 2023 or before 2023. And PDP will capture 90% of the 36 states in Nigeria 2023 by the grace of God. PDP will rule again. No more poverty again in Nigeria. People will eat 3 times a day. Up South, the only political zone with all-round protection. of the umbrella against all the storms and winds of undemocratic dispositions of the APC. I foresaw most of the APC states in the North Central, Northeast, and Northwest collapse into the PDP structures before the 2023 general elections, just as they did before the 2015 general elections. I never see something. APC has not seen anything. I don't want the same set of people parading themselves in Nigeria. Youthful politicians not backed by old uh, people eating and don't want the young one to grow should be given compulsory retirement. Zik of Africa, Papa Awolowo and Sardauna Tafawa Balewa were aged 28 to 34 when they started. I want to really dwell on this particular thing. Most of the time, the whole thing is really relative when people talk about that the youth are not really involved in politics, and some people will not tell you, oh, maybe in some isolated cases, just like the governor of Kogi State and just few other of them, they will tell you, okay, after all, they have given the the youth opportunity to serve, but how have they gone? Okay, what is the percentage of the youth compared to the old ones that are misbehaving, that are not even laying good legacy for the younger ones? That being said, the most important thing here is that the so-called old people or those who have been in politics, they've been able to make it because it is corruption. You can imagine a lot of youth would have been involved more than what we are seeing. Oh, some people will say, oh, they are watching all those BB, whatever. Yes, because you want to go into a system or a party that even for you, it's just the same godfatherism. If you don't have somebody that is going to back you up, nothing for you. And again, come to think of it, you want to buy a nomination form. Do you know how much they sell it in in the way it's ought to go? Do you know millions of naira? And how do you raise that fund? They've been able to weaponize the masses with poverty, and that is why you see that even some of the youth tend to go to somebody who is going to oil their palm. A lot of things that these so-called old politicians have been able to put in place. Even if you talk about some of the youth who have been given opportunity, they have not been able to perform well, because they will still tell you you have to learn. And I always ask, it says somebody does not have structure, he has to start from local government. What do they really learn? In the real sense, if we want to be sincere with ourselves, if all those youth want to say, okay, we want to go in the line of just want to be groomed, what do you think they will be learning? Is it not the same corruption they are going to be learning? And for the fact that even for you, that is the reason why people are going against this godfatherism. Of course, it's going to happen. It's still going to happen. If God says that Nigeria is still going to still be Nigeria, it's still going to be together, it's still going to be one Nigeria, it's going to come. The transformation that will happen in this country, everybody will be surprised to their bone marrow. Even those who think that they've gotten it all, that they've been able to use a lot of parameters to pin down the youth, they will be surprised. A typical example was what happened in Edo State. It will happen. Just like I said, if God says Nigeria will still remain one, it will still happen. They will never believe it. And it's an eye-opener. The Edo election that just took place on Saturday is an eye-opener. And for those politicians, if they want to learn, you know that they don't even learn. They don't even learn with the situation of things because they believe that they are larger than life. So a time will come, all of those impediments, all those bottlenecks that they are pushing around their political system, it will just melt away, just like Oshiomole, the way Oshiomole gave PDP back to the South without struggle. Even while Oshiomole and Obaseki were, into their fight, I was like, what is PDP doing? Even in Edo, they were not saying anything. You couldn't hear anything. They couldn't be bothered because they were looking at the game. And again, this man left the party. Iyamu left the party. I don't know whether it was the one that went to join them, or they connived, or they compared him, or how would I put it, whether they begged him or they deceived him into leaving PDP to come to APC. But at the end of the day, the calculation was wrong. The calculation was wrong. A lot of them, you talk about Kabaka, you talk about the way Tony Kabaka, the way Oshiomole himself took everything after much effort to resolve their fight. They refused. So they just played into the hands of PDP, and PDP just got it without stress. The same thing happened in Rivers State. Of course, Rivers State, even if APC had contested in that election, it would have been, it would have been a tough one. But even with that, it still made it easy. APC was not just in the ballot, but who caused it? If you trace the whole thing, it will see be traced back to Oshiomole. So I think the reason why the youth are not being involved, they have put a lot of bottlenecks, these old politicians. But like I said, a day will come, monkey will go to market and will never come back. They will be surprised. They will be surprised to their bone marrow. You can imagine the way Oshiomole is not talking. People are saying, "Oh, Oshiomole, are you a philosophy now that you are telling us this and that?" So PDP now, is fully on ground in South South. Is fully on ground in South South, and they just played into their hands and they got it back. So guys, I'll leave your comment below and let's have your take on this issue. Thank you.